What's happening, everyone? We're about to take you on a tour of our deck garden here in New Jersey. We like to think we take our garden pretty seriously. We don't profess to be experts, but we've learned from a lot of different people, a lot of resources on the internet. We actually grow in 3 different time periods during the year, now in the early spring, and then throughout the whole summer, and then finally at the end of the summer through midwinter. So we continuously grow here, and we think that there's a lot that you can learn. Okay, so today we're going to take you on a little tour of our deck garden, mostly greens. All right, but on the property we have berries, we have different fruits, we have no-till, no-dig beds, we have raised beds, we have traditional family garden. We have a lot of different stuff here. So hopefully you'll check us out from time to time, and hopefully you get some information from what regular people are doing. All right, so check this out. Over here we have these pea shoots. We just take bags full of dried peas, we soak them, then we put them in these trays with a little bit of compost that we have here, and some all-purpose soil. We grow these things about an inch bigger, and then we saute them up. And if you ever go to like a fancy Chinese restaurant, they have them there. They taste amazing. They taste better than peas, and actually it's more like a green. So I don't know, I highly recommend it. I saw it on the internet, and why wouldn't I be doing this? It's just food for cheap. We started growing lettuce out of these gutters, and they're pretty shallow, but we add perlite to our soil mixture. We actually put organic matter and compost at the bottom of it as like a filler, and then we put good soil on top of it. This year I got mushroom compost from Penn State, actually. I'll talk about that at a different time, but I put maybe half, 3/4 mushroom compost, 1/4 that organic matter / compost that we make right here on our property. We have 3 compost piles. But if you look at this lettuce, we've been picking it. We've had 4 picks so far, so it's amazing. It looks great, and it's healthy, and there are a lot of different varieties. This is I believe at Grand Rapids, and the one over here is Butter Crunch and Red Romaine, and it works every year. Below it here we have that Bloomsbury spinach. I'll talk about spinach in a minute, but these pots are mostly mushroom compost with a little bit of organic matter at the bottom, some perlite, and boom, we've been picking these spinaches for a while now. Now all these lettuce are from seed. I start them in my basement, and once they germinate, I put them under the lights, and after St. Patty's Day, when we get a little bit of warmth, I start setting us up this stuff and getting the little starts in. So that's how we get it going. So check out this spinach. Look how healthy it is. In this bed right here, we have 4 different varieties. Again, we have that same formula, but there's certain things that we try to adhere to. Even though this is in a felt bed, we adhere to no-dig gardening principles. This guy in England, Charles Dowding, he's like the OG when it comes to no-dig gardening. So really, it all boils down to not disturbing the soil. So once we get these in here, we don't even want to disturb the soil within the bed at all. Okay, soil doesn't like to be disturbed. We have more of these Bloomsbury spinach over here, but they're just growing great. They're real tough to germinate. In the other bed we have 4 different varieties. This dark green one is that Giant Noble. Look how green and glossy it is. And on the edge there we have mustard greens, and they're getting huge already. But all this stuff is great. The first and supposed easiest early spring crop is bok choy or pak choy, and it's generally an Asian vegetable, and I've had it throughout my life. But when it was recommended to me that it would grow during this early growing season, I was like, man, how am I gonna chef it up? you ask around, you see what people do, and we chef it up with a little sesame oil, a little bit of soy sauce, some black pepper, and we throw it in noodles. There's a Filipino joint close by, and they have this noodles cooked with cabbage and all that type of stuff, and we chef up the bok choy. We buy the noodles and mix that together, and it's amazing. So we've been harvesting this. We actually sowed it February 15th, super early, and then when it germinated, we put it under the lights, put it to a windowsill because we have a pretty good setup for that, and they took off. We put them in here mid-March when that warm spell hit, and they were amazing. So we harvested a ton already. If you can look closely, you see we have some at their base, and then many of them have grown back already, like this one. But what we do is we plant lettuce in there after the fact, after we harvested some, and those lettuce are in between now, growing great. After I harvest some, when I feel like hitting up the Filipino joint again, I'm gonna plant a few more lettuce, where these were harvested from. But check out bok choy. It's a early spring in the Northeast type of vegetable, and it tastes good. So as you see, going down the middle of my deck, we have all these felt beds. I got them online somewhere, and a lot of these planters. So once it's all done, this will all be off my deck by June. The soil will be put at different parts of the property. Some will be added to compost piles, and each year I do utilize the compost that we make and purchase some sort of soil to bring in. All right, so that's really how we do it. And in the beginning, it does cost a little money, but check this out. Probably around $200 I spent for soil and supplies this year, which really isn't that bad, because as I get older, I start finding ways to not cut corners, but find things that are cheaper and just as good. So we have this red romaine, this red rosa lettuce, little escarole right there, and this bed right here has bib and I believe butter crunch with some of that red rosa sprinkled throughout. And then if you look closely, we have actually some beet greens. Beet greens are amazing. I add them to the salads, stuff like that, and they're good to plant in between the lettuce like that, because I'm not harvesting it for the beet root, I'm harvesting for the greens. Look at this different romaine. Colors are amazing. Look at this red oak, I believe this is. And if you look over here, we have this unbelievable arugula. The colors on it are just pretty intense, that purple. And this is one of the pepperiest arugula I've ever had. But we like to have a bunch of different varieties of all this stuff. I mean, this bed's great. And the small ones we planted from seed. If you look close, things are popping up. And then that one over there, we've already harvested a little bit from. But all healthy stuff. So as we walk up the third aisle right now, third row, I guess, we have a couple different things, a couple different varieties of kale, along with those red oak lettuces. That dino kale right there, red Russian. Red Russian's awesome. People don't realize how good it is. It grows in the winter, throughout the winter. We harvested in the back of our property a pretty big Russian kale patch, and it really tastes good. It's better than lettuce to me. I don't know if it's just the variety, or the specific type of red Russian that we have, but it's awesome. This is lettuce. Look how thick it's grown in. I believe that's that Vivian lettuce that we spread. This is different varieties. Stuff that I got at the dollar store. I got all these bags at the dollar store, filled them with the recipe of compost and soil, put the seeds directly in there, and it really couldn't be growing any better. It couldn't. Mix, we've harvested a bunch. This is our escarole. Like that in soups, but I also cut and come again for salads. We have plenty of escarole. In the first row, we have this snow peas in buckets. The first three are ones that are bush peas, they don't vine. And then all the rest of them are like 4 different varieties of snow peas. That Oregon, something sugar baby, I think one of them's called. You have to water these a lot, but they're healthy as can be. And I still use that same mixture. You know, I personally love snow peas. I have them growing now all over the property, but you know, these look like they're gonna pump out some good ones. We've pruned a few. I think I put too many in each bucket, but who knows? We'll see. So that's the deal. Hopefully you pick something up from what we showed you today. I mean, this was only like a part of what we do. This is just our deck. So we have stuff all throughout our property. So I recommend utilizing the internet, utilizing your resources. There's some great people out there. You know, I mentioned Charles Dowding. You know, go to his channel, all that stuff. This guy, James Prigioni, he's from right here in Jersey. It's got Kevin and Epic Gardening. He's out in Cali, I think San Diego area somewhere. And there's another guy, Jim Kovaleski. He goes from Florida to Maine. And then another OG named Elliot Coleman. I mean, I just rattled off 4 or 5 names. Like, you could get inspired from these people and you could do things like this. But you know, we're regular people. We have regular jobs. All right, we're busy, we have kids, but we couldn't promote this enough. All right, so we hope to see people periodically checking out what we have growing on, and good luck with it all. Boom.